powerful people no. Let me jina chetu ye ni na hu say we kunipa papache nipa.
Also coming up, customers of financial institutions whose investments are locked up call on the President and the Finance Minister to get the Bank of Ghana to help them retrieve their investments.
If people invest in an unregulated institutions that are regulated, licensed to operate as deposit takers, you send your money there, you must be protected.
Still ahead, aggrieved customers of defunct Gold Coast Fund Management Company petitioned Securities and Exchange Commission over their locked up cash.
We are not going to relent. In the petition, we have given timeline of a week from today to hear from them responding positively to the demands and the requests that we have made in the petition.
And later, Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, invites customers who are illegally consuming power to regularize power consumption to avoid prosecution.
The issues of illegal connections. Please, this is the structure. If you know you are consuming power with no recourse to ECG, please visit our office with immediate effect.
In her 50s has died. Deceased, identified as a Kuyasewa, sells cabbage by the
of the Kumasi Central Market and by pavements and hawkers. Accident was blamed on congestion. The activities, the truck, consequently ran into the deceased, who was trapped.
I mean, we can't ask them to cut them out. Now, I'm for so you're channel. I don't cut them out. So, to me, cut away the drop and no for the other. And it's so free, remember. Joanna, Obiaba, no, Obiaba, no, Yakatama, you can no be a chat. Yakatama, you can Obiaba, no chat. I say, yes, the Abba.
Videos of the incidents showed mutilated body parts of the deceased on the ground as bystanders made efforts to put them together. The body has since been deposited at the Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital morgue and the truck towed away from the scene.
A group by name Locked Up Investment Holders Forum is calling on the President and the Finance Minister to get the Bank of Ghana to help them retrieve their locked up investments in licensed financial institutions. Now, according to the group, its members are unable to have access to their monies due to the financial sector cleanup. Addressing the press on their concerns, convener of the group, Dr. Eduan Anientri, bemoaned the silence of the Bank of Ghana and suggested that the Stability Fund can be used to pay affected investors. There is more in this report filed by Citi News' and Shelley Ziu.
In a bid to restore confidence in the banking and specialized deposit-taking sector, the Bank of Ghana embarked on a cleanup exercise in August 2017. Spending over 20 billion Ghana cedis, the central bank's action was to resolve insolvent financial institutions whose continued existence posed risk to the interests of depositors. The cleanup exercise saw a reduction in the number of banks from 34 to 23. Whilst 347 microfinance institutions, 15 savings and loans, and 8 financial houses had their licenses revoked. The Securities and Exchange Commission also announced the revocation of licenses of 53 fund management companies. However, this action rendered many jobless while investors had their funds locked up. But licensed financial institutions are also bearing the brunt of this move as they are unable to pay investors their funds. A group calling itself Locked Up Investment Holders Forum, mostly made up of pensioners whose monies have been locked up with these financial institutions, have expressed worry at their inability to access their monies to cater for their health needs.
Please, you are disappointed that you can get, the funds which you invested, but it's also dangerous because you take care of your health needs, and if you don't have the funds to finance that could potentially kill you. So that's where we are. And of course, you plan your life to have a certain kind of lifestyle after retirement, and now all that is more or less gone up in smoke because, you can't get access to the funds which you want. So it's a difficult time for many of us. Keep on going to these institutions and they have no money to give you at all.
The group says the Bank of Ghana is to blame for the current situation, hence its appeal to the President and the Finance Minister to get the central bank to help them retrieve their locked-up investments in licensed financial institutions.
Now people do not have confidence invest in an unregulated license to operate as deposit. When customers of some banks, microfinance institutions, the Bank of Ghana stepped in deposit and investment of customers of these affected. I believe that on the part to protect our investment and ensure that we are able to access our funds. We respectfully request the President of the Republic and the Finance
explore other options available.
I suggest humbly that government should use part of the Financial Stability Fund or other development partners to contribute. They should make it a point to all those that we cannot in our market when people's money are still locked up, their life savings. So whatever we get from this financial stability should be locked. Then we can restore confidence. Then we can rebuild our financial sector. solution.
The Locked Up Investment Holders Forum engagement, governments will come to their aid to help them get their monies, which have been locked up in licensed financial institutions. Reporting for
the defunct Gold Coast Fund Management Company have presented a petition to the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, for the institution to, as a matter of urgency, on the condition of securing. This comes been addressed in
to the president through the Securities and that for the sake of humanity, pleading with them order before they disbursed a bailout package that has been is that we are not going to relent of a week from today to hear from them. We hope to hear from them.
Receiving the petition, assure the group that the petition
customers SEC, and our message is that we take this petition process as ardently and as fervently as possible. First of all,
to have been released by government.
first and foremost, we wish to state that SEC doesn't hold on to any monies. We are not the It's important to note that it was for all affected investors of all 47 fund management companies and not just for Black Shield customers only. So far, the update we received from the agent is that 4.6 billion has so far been disbursed by the government of Ghana and has been apportioned as follows. About 1.3 billion has been paid to customers. And we also have 1.3 billion which has been paid in tier 2 payments. Now, specifically, it's also important to
some of
Today being the last day of our picketing, being the 10th, it's handed over to us. As well, our business are collapsing. We can't take off. Impacting badly on our side and the rest of our families.
If not, so we will sleep here. Even ourselves, we want money. We are broke. So we have to get our money and spend it how we are. Careful, and they should have our money. We need our have to pay everything. start again. He will reward us. To be careful. Our money.
The funds I save. Country, and I don't receive my salary in Ghana City. So I exchange foreign currency. As you know, even the even if I receive the funds today, my husband is SS1, we have 4 children. Negative impacts. This is sacrosanct human.
You're watching the Citi Newsroom here on Citi TV. Still to come. Electricity Company of Ghana invites customers who are illegally consuming power to regularize power consumption and to avoid prosecution. We'll tell you more shortly. Do stay with us.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Real estate gaming platform. Cash or consolidated. Visit www.ugoflip.com. Buy a ticket to enter the game. Wait for the end of the game to enjoy the win. Anyone can win. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Play responsibly, not for persons below 18 years, and gaming can be addictive.
Sweet, sweet mothers, how could we ever forget you? This year, on Mother's Day, we plan to do quite the festive opposite. What better way to show out for our beloved matriarchs than an entire evening dedicated to celebrating the phenomenon that is motherhood. Mama's boys and mama's girls, for all their love and sacrifices, here comes the ultimate Mother's Day gift. Picture this: a flavorous Ghanaian spread with countless mouth-watering treats, just like Mama's cooking. A glitzy dance floor serenaded by Mama's favorite tunes, just for Mama to boogie. And a stunningly intricate portrait of Mama, just 23 at 4 p.m. for an enchanting evening of appreciation and enjoyment for our feminine support systems. The venue is at the City Gardens, number 5, Ola Hansen Lane, Tesano, and the rate is a cool 350 Ghana cedis. It's going to be an evening of Ghanaian food, dance, and the celebration of motherhood. So book now and secure a seat for Mama at the A Portrait of Mama. More enquiries, call 020-5973-973. The Portrait of Mama Mother's Day Dinner is powered by Citi TV with support from Citi FM and is sponsored by Dano Milk and Tasty Tom.
has invited customers who are illegally consuming power to visit the offices of the ECG to regularize power consumption to avoid prosecution. ECG, however, says it has successfully recouped 3.1 billion cedis out of the 5.7 billion Ghana cedis it set out to recover in the month-long revenue mobilization exercise. The power distributor says it is committed to ensuring that customers pay for the power they consume. Charles Owusu-Kumi covered a press conference by the ECG on Thursday, and Charles
provide an update on that exercise. That press conference was addressed by its managing director, Mr. Samuel Dubik Mahama.
Out of the 5.7 billion, ECG managed to recoup 3.1 billion of the 5.7 billion. Out of this 3.1 billion recouped, the balance out there that was seen was broken down into certain categories. Some companies through the time have collapsed. Customers, special load tariff customers. The number of companies that had collapsed that we cannot find, in terms of some taking the meters away, and in terms of some of them, the physical locations not present, their total bills put together is about 750 million Ghana cedis. And the last group, which is people who are postpaid customers, who through probably, we want to give the benefit of the doubt. Some of them, it was true, there were demolition exercises. Some of them, some flooding, so those places are no longer existent. Some of them too, we just can't find. They've consumed, but we just can't find. That's 750 million Ghana cedis. So these are bills that if probably we are to put in some other efforts or to seek other help, we can actually go out there to see how best we can recoup some of that money. But as of now, that is money that is very difficult to ascertain. But we will do our best.
ECG has also invited customers who are consuming power illegally because of the lack of meters, and even those who have meters but have deliberately bypassed those meters to consume power illegally, to come to their offices and to regularize their power consumption.
We also want to eliminate the issues of illegal connections. Please, this is the structure. If you know you are consuming power with no recourse to ECG, please visit our office with immediate effect. This is a moratorium. Visit our office, we will set up your account, we will set you up in the system, we will continue paying such a flat rate until your meter is ready. It is done, your service is now what? Complete. Please and please, after all power consumed by you is considered what? Illegal, and is considered as what? Stealing. Please, I repeat, this is a moratorium. Visit our office with immediate effect. Let's create your service line. Let's create your account. Let's put you in the system and put you on a flat rate until such a time that your meter is ready. You cannot consume power for free.
ECG is debt-ridden, and the company attributes this to illegal connections. To help address this, the company says that it is offering 6% on all illegal connections reported to whistleblowers. For Citi News, my name is Charles Owusu-Kumi, reporting from the headquarters of the Electricity Company of Ghana here in Accra.
Now, management of the St. Anne's Hospital in Damongo are appealing to stakeholders to take steps that will ensure the hospital is not disconnected from the national grid again. Power was restored to the hospital after the intervention of the Savannah Regional Minister following a disconnection of the facility early Thursday morning over a more than 4 million Ghana cedis debt. Though the power has been restored, authorities at the hospital say the facility might be debt by government. Citi News' Richard Fogo has more.
Power has been restored to the St. Anne's Hospital in Damango following the intervention of the Savannah Regional Minister. NETCO on Thursday morning disconnected the hospital, which serves as the West Gonja Municipal Hospital, over 4 million Ghana cedis debt. The hospital authorities threatened to shut down the facility if power was not restored in good time. According to them, electricity bills of the hospital are settled by government through the Ministry of Finance, for which reason patients are not billed for electricity. Dr. Nelson Aguado, the medical director of the hospital, who spoke to Citi News after the hospital was disconnected, explained the implications of the disconnection to the hospital and its clients.
If there is a child who is on some warmer that is keeping him warm, now the electricity has gone, you can't, some of the temperatures that they need, you can't use covering them with a cloth to be able to provide that temperature. So somebody is on oxygen by an oxygen concentrator, now it can't work. You have to go and get cylinder, depending on the number. If there are several people and they are beyond the cylinders, definitely those people you cannot estimate, they can die at any time. They can die at any time. You can't give a duration to those people. And if there is an emergency that has to be done in theater, and we need a light, we cannot do it. Sometimes you want to refer. By the time that you delay, the patients can die even when you want. And if we don't, this is not required, the hospital will come to a halt. It will come, we can't do anything because we can't sustain the buying of fuel. Fuel is so expensive. And looking at the things that are used in the hospital, that fuel we can't because we don't have money. The hospital is owing so much people. We are trying our best as management to try to see how we can settle those people. So coming to add this thing onto our we just go to where we came from. Because we are here because of the people. And we explained that we are sacrificing to come and serve people. And one person is standing on his ground that he has a directive from above. He gave even an instance that SDA hospital was disconnected. We found out it was not true. But he said he has a direction from above. And he engages us as if it is our personal property. The truth of the matter is that all staff are paying for electricity. And it for our personal gain. We are using it because of the patient.
Following the intervention of the Savannah Regional Minister, power was later restored in the day. But Dr. Aguado warns that if steps are not taken by stakeholders to settle the debt, the hospital might be disconnected again by Tuesday, 9th May 2023.
So we are pleading with all the stakeholders that are involved that the debt is so much, this hospital cannot pay it. And we have a lot of people we are owing in terms of our consumables, in terms of drugs, and we need to pay all these things. Rather than that time will come, patients will come to us, they will not get any drug or anything. And we are really fighting that. So coming to add electricity bill, which we've not really with all stakeholders to come on board to help.
The nationwide disconnection exercise that is being undertaken by ECG and NETCO today hit the St. Anne's Hospital here in Damango, the capital of the Savannah region. Morning disconnected by personnel of the electricity company, who says the hospital is management say if stakeholders do not take steps to settle the bill before Tuesday next week, the hospital will be disconnected again. For Citi News, I am Richard Fogo, Damango.
The Ghana committed to reaffirming the boundary pillars between both nations. At a sensitization program held at Petoi in the Volta region, the Chief Executive of the Ghana Boundary Commission, Major General Emmanuel Kotia, called on residents along border communities to accord the team the necessary support. Citi News' Fred Duo has more in the following report.
Ghana and Togo have once again reassured of commitment towards reaffirming the land boundaries of both countries to protect the territorial integrity of both nations. The Ghana Boundary Commission and its counterpart in Togo jointly held the second sensitization program at Petoi in the Volta region after a similar event at Aflau last year. The move is in relation to ensuring that all boundary pillars that have been tampered with or eroded over the years are identified and properly erected. In his remarks, the Chief Executive of the Ghana Boundary Commission, Major General Emmanuel Kotia, encouraged residents to take place in 3 weeks.
A technical committee, a joint technical committee between Ghana and Togo Boundary Commission is going to undertake this exercise from tomorrow, and this committee will be identifying all tempered, removed, or destroyed boundary pillars within the demarcated line. This second phase will cover a distance of 80 kilometers, running from Have through Batume Junction, through Nive, through Unuta, and all the border areas up to Wuli Africa.
The Deputy Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Benito Wusu-Bio, noted that reaffirming the land boundaries will not affect the cordial relationship that exists between both countries. He believes enforcing the land boundaries of both countries will enhance diplomatic ties while eliminating the tendencies of misunderstanding.
The fact remains that most of the boundary markings that define the land or conflicts in many communities along the international boundary line.
The District Chief Executive of the Agwatimeziopi Assembly, Emilia Ajima, charged the Ghana Boundary Commission to build TIPS compounds in some border communities to guarantee the health needs of the people. This, she noted, will reinforce the mutual relationship among residents.
I wish to appeal to the Boundary Commission to provide some infrastructure projects in the border communities. We need chiefs compound, classroom blocks, and motorable roads in these communities. This, when provided, will provide on the living condition of our people, thereby enhancing the socio-economic development of the areas.
The Member of Parliament for the area, Charles Agbeve, also added his voice to the calls for residents to add their support to the exercise. Speaking on behalf of the Paramount Chief of the Agwatimeziopi area, Nene Akutosa VII entreated the Volta Regional Minister, Dr. Archibald Yaolecha, to ensure that security personnel at various border posts along the land boundaries treat residents with dignity. According to him, some security personnel overexert their authority by intimidating residents who cross the borders into each country.
This is still the Citi Newsroom here on Citi TV. Still to come. Ghana Geological Survey Authority intensifies efforts at We'll be right back with the details. Don't go away.
On Footprints this weekend, we have a conversation with the former Chief of Defense Staff of the Ghana Armed Forces, Air Marshal Napoleon Ashley Larson, and Wing Commander Patrick Nelson Sobojo, as they walk us through the life and the career of Air Marshal Napoleon Ashley Larson.
I was the ADC to Akufo-Addo's father in '69.
So how was it like being an ADC to the then president?
Was a very nice man. I had no problems with him. If any problems was with his madam. I always remember the occasion when they wanted to install him as the president, the rehearsal. We were rehearsing in the State House.
Yeah.
Well, that the sword of state is a very heavy sword. Have you carried it before?
No, please. No, please.
Very, very heavy. And so they passed it on to old man Akufo-Addo to try and go to do the ceremony. He nearly went. So I jumped and grabbed it from him immediately so that he wouldn't fall down. You know? So I said, this time I've been away for 1 year. I don't know how my boys were doing. Let me go and see how they were doing. So I went with about 7 officers. So I landed in Takoradi on the 12th. The night of the 13th, the coup took place. I made the coup and said he has appointed me Chief of Defense.
No, you were on your random visit?
On official, because I've been away for 1 year.
And
now
you
I want to go and see.
Idea that there was a coup taking place?
I didn't even know where Ika-Champon was then.
I had been called to a meeting at Tema, where I met the Champon, Agbo, and Salome, and Ba.
Yeah, Major Ba.
Yes. Major Ba.
It was a morning after a dinner that I met him. He didn't even know I was in Takoradi.
Force commander.
So people thought he knew about the coup, but he didn't.
Join your host Samuel Atamensa as he engages Air Marshal Napoleon Ashley Larson and Wing Commander Patrick Nelson Sobojo this Saturday on Footprints at 9 a.m. with a repeat on Sunday at 4 p.m. only on Citi TV.
Footprints is proudly sponsored by Creamy Plus Evaporated Milk.
You're welcome back. Now, over 300 peasant cocoa farmers in Achemesuom in the Kwaibibre municipality of the Eastern region are threatening to take the law into their own hands if the government and the Ghana Cocoa Board do not intervene to prevent the operation. Issued permits from the government and the Minerals Commission of farmlands in the area have already begun destroying cocoa plantations in the area. City News' Neil Niamate Kanaku has more in this report.
Achemesuom, located in the Kwaibibre municipality of the Eastern region, is a farming zone due to the arable lands they have been blessed with. From cassava, plantain to palm, Achemesuom provides quite a huge chunk of the country's palm product, and that is not all. Farmers in Achemesuom also cultivate cocoa, making them one of the leading producers of cocoa in the region and Ghana as a whole. But for some time now, cocoa farmers in Achemesuom say their livelihood is at risk due to the operations of a gold mining company. The mining company, AC Canon Limited, who are claiming to have been issued with permits from the government and the Minerals Commission to mine over 30 hectares of farmlands in the area, have already begun destroying cocoa plantations in the area. Currently, over 4.5 acres of cocoa farms belonging to the farmers have been destroyed by the mining company, who intend to mine for 13 years in the area. In an interview with Citi News after a court hearing on the issue at the Asamankes Circuit Court, the cocoa farmers, who reveal their lives are in danger after raising resistance, say they will fight off the miners even if government fails to intervene.
Yes, no.
company no omo so omo last so metu gold we ho na omo ba omo tintim machine no ye kokofu ho ye mefu ho e ho na yedidie ye mame no ye emerewa ye de hwe ye ne ye ma ne ye busua ye sra ban menua commission omo no dro so omo last sampa omo no dro omo last no ko anya sa na se menua commission antie yen aban antie yen court antie yen na se company ne ba assume youth ye ne company ne de besie ni.
The secretary of the Asuma Dansi Cocoa Cooperative Union, Maxwell Kwabna Owusu, who expressed shock over the government and Cocoa Board's attitude towards addressing mining issues affecting the cocoa sector, says the country's cocoa stock will be depleted if the company is allowed to mine in the area.
They are not doing it. It's just yesterday they called that the IGP, they've called the IGP, they're going to arrest blah, blah, blah. And even the premise upon which they want to arrest the people, I don't understand it. That a farmer has sold his cocoa farm to the people to prosper for good. So they are going to arrest him because the cocoa doesn't belong to him. They give him the seedlings. And I was asking my colleagues, did they change the law yesterday? My farm, I decided to set fire to it. What's your business? Cocoa Board, we've been calling you to come into the case. It is not that you are coming to tell you are going. Anyway, it was just tactics to just get them to feel that they are doing something about it. They are doing nothing about it to today. And they come to court today and tell us that they really don't know where the case stands, that the case wasn't even supposed to be called there, it was supposed to go to higher court. And I'm like, I don't understand it. Go to high court. We've given you this thing since last year. We told you where the premises is. You've sent people to meet us here. You didn't know the case is not supposed to be here. Now you want us to go back again, spend another money to go to Korea to start the case afresh. You are not giving us a dime.
Care is not taking it will affect cocoa production.
It is affecting over how many acres? Didn't I show you the map of this thing? They say it's about, I've forgotten the figure. I don't want to quote wrong figure. This is the map. It covers a wide area of Assume. Wide area. It's going to affect cocoa production.
Meanwhile, the Ghana Cocoa Board says it will file a fresh case in Accra to prevent mining company from going ahead with plans to cut down cocoa plantations in the area for mining purposes. Professor Michael Quatten, head of Galamsey Secretariat at the Office of the Chief Executive Officer for Cocoa Board, has been speaking to Citi News.
We are planning that the case, maybe Cocoa Board also file a new case at the High Courts. Yes, because of the criminalities involved, destruction of cocoa trees already. So we will sit with our lawyers and then ensure that the proper thing is done. Meeting with them, they assume, and they even inspected the area. In fact, they are very ready to face them boot for boot if they go ahead and destroy the land. And that is where we don't want this to come in.
On the issue of threats targeted at the cocoa farmers, Professor Quatten, who indicated that Cocoa Board is taking serious consideration, says it has been reported to security agencies.
So we are talking with Mineral Commission. When we get to the information we've gathered so far, we are also ensure that we do what is needful to protect them, because if threatening is coming from the Mineral Commission or wherever, or the company, then that is why we are here. So we will ensure that our security department is working on this. So we report to them for them to take it up.
The lives of over 300 farmers engaging in cocoa plantation at Assume is at risk for coming out to prevent a mining company, which has been given a series of concessions from engaging in mining in that particular enclave. Now, these farmers say their lives are at risk. They are calling on government, the presidency, to intervene if cocoa is indeed the heartbone of the country's economy. Reporting for Citi News, Neoni Amati Kanaku, Asaman Kese Circuit Court.
The Ghana Geological Survey Authority is stepping up public engagement as a means of curtailing misinformation on issues relating to earthquakes in the country. The authority maintains that misinformation about earthquakes tends to create fear among the populace, and efforts must be made to stop such occurrences. Citi News' Ashanti Regional Correspondent Hafiz Tijani reports.
Accra has been identified as an earthquake-prone zone by the Ghana Geological Survey Authority after parts of the national capital experienced several earth tremors in 2022. The Geological Survey Authority, after the December 22 earth tremor experienced in Accra, warned of more such incidents in parts of the capital. The authority is, however, intensifying public awareness of what safety measures the public can adopt in times of these disasters. Acting Director General of the Ghana Geological Survey Authority, Isaac Kunwan-Wimble, says the public must also be prepared for such incidents.
In the event of an earthquake, what the public needs to do is that, first of all, wherever you are, you will need to go down and look and go under either a table, a bed, or anything, any structure that is solid, and hold firmly to it, so that should there be any structural failure, the impact on you would be minimal. Mostly, we always say the head. You try to give protection, most protection to the head, so that in case of a failure, your head is not crushed, and it will reduce the impact on you when there is any structural failure in the event of an accident event. Then 2, if you are in a vehicle, you should stay in your vehicle. Don't get out of the vehicle. 3, if you are on a flyover, it is advisable you get out of the flyover, because if the flyover or the bridge collapses, then you'll be caught in that event. So it is better to go off or go outside the bridge and be in a safe environment. Usually, the best is, after the event, to go to a safe and open place, so that if there are structural failures, they do not affect the individual. So these are some of the public education that you need to let the public know, that in the event of an earthquake, these are the things that they should be doing. Structures that are constructed are earthquake resistant, so that they can be able to withstand the earthquake. And therefore, the engineers and all the people who are involved in the design of these structures should ensure that they design structures and construct structures that should be able to withstand the events that we are currently experiencing.
He also urged the public to ignore reports that predict the occurrence of earthquakes in the country.
Earthquakes cannot be predicted. So if somebody tells you that an earthquake is going to occur on this date, that is misinformation. In as much as possible, we try to reduce misinformation by not causing public fear and panic. Because there are some information that once you release them, then it causes fear and panic. But earthquake should not cause fear and panic. You must report on the true event, and that is what the public needs. And the public should always be assured that after the event, they can go about their normal duties. Ghana Geological Survey, as any other government institution, has a number of challenges with logistics, challenges with even manpower, challenges with this. But within these challenges, we are still carrying out our mandate as we have been mandated by the act that established the institution. So definitely, there's no cause for alarm.
Officials of the Ghana Geological Survey Authority, as part of increased public engagement, interacted with journalists in Kumasi on its activities.
The Ghana Geological Survey Authority says it will continue its monitoring to ensure the public is protected. Hafiz Tijani, Citi News, Kumasi, Ashanti Region.
Now, the Member of Parliament for Doma East, Paul Chum Berima, has denied claims by the minority in Parliament that the approval of loan agreements by the House on Tuesday was not a unanimous decision. In an interview with Citi News, the lawmaker says the approval of the loans was a collective decision. There is more in the following report.
Parliament on Tuesday, May 2nd, 2023, passed loan agreements amounting to $750 million to enable the government undertake some key projects. The minority denied voting in favor of the approval of the loans, with a member of parliament for Yape Kusau, John Jinapo, saying that it will be unfair for anyone to blame the minority caucus for the passage of the loan agreements, adding that they vehemently opposed the loan agreements, but the numbers did not favor them. However, the Member of Parliament for Doma East, Paul Chumberima, says such claims are unfounded.
I will urge my colleagues on the other side that, yes, so far as you all support the approval of the loans,
They have indicated they didn't support it.
but they were in the house. There's somebody, you see, it was by voice vote. Did you see anybody be on his feet to question and say that, okay, listen, I call for division because we are not in agreement of this the numbers? No, none of them did that. Not their leadership, nor any member. So they are all. And you see, don't forget, if you read the reports, it is a unanimous report. It's a report signed by both, agreed by both of them. So I don't think we really need to worry our head about what we need to do as members of parliament with this oversight. We should be able to follow through. So if that great department, I expect that great committee to be able to follow through and tell us, okay, yes, they said this money was going to be used for that. We want to see. We want to account for everything. I want to expect the communications committee to be able to come and say, yes, they say accelerated digitization. What have we achieved? The finance committee, they said the supporting of the Development Bank of Ghana. What? These are the things that we need to talk about.
He also waded into discussions surrounding the illegal mining reports released by Professor Frimpong Boateng.
The report must be studied. The report must be, and I've heard the minister, giving a clear way forward that, the report will be studied, and who is supposed to be investigated will be investigated, and the actions supposed to be taken will be taken. I've heard the OSP saying that the report they're also taking over. So that is the right way for us to go. But I think Prof could have done us, more good. If just even 6 months, I've told her, no, listen, this is what I have. I've sent it in 6 months. I've not heard anything. We need to do something. But after 2 years, so even assume without admitting that some people's name that you've mentioned, we go and trace it, and there's nothing for us to use as evidence. Now, how do you want us to be able to fight such people? Honorable Abu Jinapo will go to the full hall to ensure that the truth is established. And you can trust him for this.
Reporting from Parliament, my name is Ni Aikwe Okain for Citi News.
And that will be all for the Citi Newsroom here on Citi TV. Our website, citinewsroom.com, has more information on our top stories and more. Subscribe to Citi Tube on YouTube for more exclusive video content from Citi TV. My name is Nanatu Boateng. Many thanks for watching.